Am I the asshole for pressing charges against my 17-year-old sister? This all started last year in the fall of 2019. I had saved up a sum of money to buy my dream car in early June. 2011 Lincoln Town car. I worked my ass off perfecting it inside and out, at least 3 months of hard work during weekends. After I finished it, I would sometimes drive it to and from work, or drive around town for fun. My sister's car one day decided to die, and she had no job to fund the repairs. I offered to let her drive my Lincoln for a week to school, until she could find a way to get her car fixed. I just wanted to do something nice for her, because she and I never really got along. The week went fine until Friday, after she got back from school. The car had trash all over inside. She left the gas below a quarter tank, and what really pissed me off was the huge imprint of a container on the back leather seat. I told her to clean it up by tomorrow afternoon, or I'm not letting her use it any longer. She made a big deal about it, but she agreed. The next day I wake up at 5:30 am. I look out my window and do not see my car. I at first thought she moved it to clean it out easier. When I went outside I could not find my car. I called her multiple times and got no answer. I called up a few buddies to help me look for her and my car. No luck. The next day in the afternoon, she and the car show up. I walked up to ask her what the hell, and she just smiles and walks into the house. My car was trashed, keyed, burnt paint, cracked windshield, curb rash trims, gouged white-wall tires, rear left door kinked and dented, door handles broken off, gut-cutted seats, a stench of weed and ass, and last but not least literal shit on the carpet everywhere. I was almost brought to tears at what she did. I was sad and angry. I went to the police station to file a report with a few dozen photos. 3 days later, I go to court with her, and she ended up getting her license revoked and 50 hours of community service. It seemed harsh to me. Her friends were pissed at me. My parents literally disowned me for what I did. I live in a different state now and haven't talked to them for almost a year. I keep thinking I went too far and should apologize, but at the same time I got nothing for what she did to my hard work. Please, Reddit, am I an asshole? And before anybody asks, I have no idea why she would trash my car. We had a rough relationship earlier on, but nothing equal to this situation. NTA, your sister and your family are assholes, and her punishment didn't seem that harsh to me. Not harsh enough, even. Would have been nice if she were forced to pay restitution. Shame that your car insurance company didn't try to go after her and sue her. Edit. Don't apologize for making her face the consequences of her actions. She isn't owed an apology, and neither is your family. If there are apologies to be made, it's definitely on them. 100% NTA. I can't believe your parents sided with her. You don't owe them any sort of apology or olive branch. The amount of disrespect she acted with is so immense. Cutting ties is very justifiable. You did her a favor and she acted like a psychopath. In my opinion, her sentencing was too light for such a rough case of malicious injury to property. NTA, and if anything, she got off too lightly. 50 hours of community service, license revoked. She stole a car, destroyed your property, and apparently wasn't forced to reimburse you. She did so out of spite, after you tried to do something nice for her and asked her for basic human decency. Your parents raised a psychopath. NTA. Your sister had no right to disrespect your car like that, especially since you let her use it and set a reasonable time for it to not look nasty. Just because she's blood isn't an excuse to be sh*tty. NTA. Your sister had no right to disrespect your car like that, especially since you let her use it and set a reasonable time for it to not look nasty. Just because she's blood isn't an excuse to be sh*tty. NTA at all. WTF. What gives her the right to completely trash, pun intended, your car? That girl needs a serious attitude check. You were doing her a huge favor by letting her borrow your car that you worked your ass off for. It's common courtesy to not only return the car in the condition that it was in previously, but also do your best to clean it up yourself. NTA. I'm still amazed that people have the balls to be as incredibly disrespectful and she has been to you. I'm taking aside all of the other variables, like maybe you asked her to clean out the car like a complete and total prick, or maybe you were just doing something to piss her off. What she did to the car is no excuse, and she needs to understand that her actions have consequences. It may have been a bit harsh, but I seriously doubt she's going to attempt to do that bullshit ever again, which is kind of the point of taking someone to court. Info. I know this didn't actually happen, but Jesus, you really think the police would only give her community service and a suspended license for stealing your car and destruction of property? You didn't get any money out of it? And your parents were on her side? Bro, this isn't real mayo. Edit. Also, I assume you took pics of your car for the case. Do you have any pics of your destroyed car? Because your profile has a nice Crown Vic on it, but this story doesn't sound like the people in it are real people. Info. No normal human being does this. Is she really screwed up on drugs? An adopted child who was neglected after you were born? There is an explanation, not an excuse, for why she would think it was acceptable to completely trash anyone who did something to help her. Do your parents tell her that she's a perfect angel and the world is full of assholes who are out to get her and no one ever does anything kind for someone else? Like, how the hell are you generous enough to let her use your car when you had the same parents? There is a massive disconnect here. The punishment was not harsh at all. Obviously the judge has seen a lot of bad kids and has slashed her time and wanted to teach your sister a lesson so she won't be in court again. The ones who are going to pay a much worse price than a messed up car are your parents. They are going to have deal with the consequences of raising her to be a brat and not getting her the help she needs. She is going to make their lives a living hell for the rest of her life. NTA. Your sister got what was coming to her. It honestly doesn't seem harsh to me at all. She ruined your car that you worked for. Your parents are assholes for disowning you. Because of that, your sister definitely won't learn from the situation. It's awful that your family treated you this way, but it seems like you're better off keeping them at a distance. No, she got part of what she had coming to her. She still should be made to make full restitution as well. What the fuck is wrong with your sister and parents? It would take me a lot not to kill someone if they fucked me like that out of spite. NTA. You gave your sister a favor and she responded in hate. Your parents sided with her and abandoned you. I feel nothing but sorry for you. Again. NTA. Holy shit. Your parents' reaction was totally backwards. NTA. As a car enthusiast, that is the one of the only rules of ever maintaining my respect. Don't fuck with my car. It's easily the fastest way to completely lose my respect for you. Coming back to this, I'm horrified and disgusted for you. What your sister did is beyond disrespectful and is simply borderline psychotic. Have her charged for grand theft auto and destruction of property. This is crazy. Why would you think you were the asshole for this? Why would you feel the need to apologize? She purposely destroyed something that you worked so hard to get. I think she got off easy. There was no financial obligation to fix what she had done. And on that note, for your parents not to understand your position is just astounding. I personally think you went easy and should not say a thing. You were not in the wrong. NTA. And for those saying that this is a bratty thing, no. Based on Op's other comments, this sister is a sociopath. She mimics good behavior and probably emotions, and then does some scary ass shit, like trashing Op's car over a minor thing like being asked to clean it out. I hate to say it, but the parents probably know this and protect her, because if someone outside the family notices, she could literally get put away. Disowning Op was probably the safest thing they could have done, because based on what she did to the car, well, imagine if she had decided to do that to Op instead. And there is nothing that the parents can do other than stay out of the sister's way or lock her ass up in an institution. And her parents will make the excuse it's just a teen girl thing, she's just in a rough patch, until it's the family dog that ends up dissected for chewing her favorite shoes, or God forbid another person. NTA. Her behavior is unacceptable. And frankly, your parents aren't much better. Your sister sounds like she has some sort of personality disorder, and your parents are definitely enabling her by accepting her vandalism and criminal behavior. They're feeding the monster. Info. How did your parents react to this, besides them disowning you? Just wondering. Totally. NTA. NTA, honestly, taking her to court, you should have sued for her to pay for property damage and emotional damage. You put so much money and time and love into that car, and for her to trash it like that, and then your parents disown you for her destroying the car. Are they crazy? Your sister is entitled and spoiled rotten. I hate to say this. Your sister is a pig fucker.